I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into an awe-inspiring tale that blends scripture with the supernatural, crafted by the Reverend Janette Jones. Her work captivates with the idea of paranormal visitations from the biblical cloud of witnesses. It's an enchanting tale. It's a remarkable tale. It is a book you won't want to put down. We'd like to thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put this very talented author in the spotlight today. And we'd ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Reverend, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Good to see you.
Let's begin by giving the folks at home an overview of what your book is all about.
Well, the book is about the fact that, what you might consider the bad girls of the Bible, and they're not so much as bad as as that they voiced their opinion. Um, and it's just the fact that, the Bible is the best-selling book there is, but however, it's the least read. A lot of times it's laying on a coffee table or on a shelf. And so I thought of the concept of, their stories need to be told. And I did it in a concept of because people won't know about Eve, they won't know about Jezebel, they won't know about woman at the well, and in a sense if they don't read the Bible. So as a rebellion, I had the women to just materialize. There's two best friends that are neighbors, and one of them is going through difficulty in her life, and so she comes over to her older neighbor, and they are discussing things that's happening on today's in today's life. And one of the older lady is a Bible thumper. What I consider a Bible thumper is someone that's constantly perusing the word, the scriptures, and she tends to equate everything that is happening today to what has happened in the word, in the Bible. And so on this particular day, as she's discussing a matter that one of their friends are experiencing, and then she'll say, that reminds me of Eve. How the concept of Eve came about as she enticed Adam to bite the apple or something in that nature. So all of a sudden Eve appears. And so while they're discussing, it's almost like the ladies materializes and they tell their stories.
Wonderful. How did you go about choosing which biblical figures would appear in your story?
It's just the fact that they said there's nothing new under the sun, and pretty much everything that we're experiencing today, it's already happened.
Right.
And so the tale of Eve is the fact that she's telling her story as to how she foresaw things. And when women bear children, you hear people say, if I could get a hold of Eve, because she's causing us to having to bear pain, when we bear our children.
Yeah.
And so the novice, the Tanika character, she's a novice at the written word. So she's learning everything from her older neighbor. And she said, if I could get a hold of Eve, I'd wring her neck, because you're giving birth to that 9-pound, big-headed boy. Because she equates Eve to having to endure pain during labor.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's funny. That's funny. What
Yeah.
were the challenges you faced in balancing scripture with fiction?
Well, the characters, the secular characters are fictional, but we know that the biblical characters, they are real.
Yeah.
These women, they had heartache, they had joy, they experienced all the emotions that we women today experience. And so I just wanted to parallel, the experience of what they might have endured as to what we endure today,
Yeah.
so we can connect.
It's very
And so that's pretty
effective.
much.
Yeah. It's very effective. It kind of gives you a feeling of timelessness, that you're not alone, that other people have gone through this all through antiquity, as a matter of fact.
Mhm.
What do you hope readers take away from the stories?
Well, for one thing, the first and foremost thing is the fact that don't that they won't be afraid to read the word, to read the
Mm,
Bible. You can find, I mean, you go through all sorts of emotions. You can find joy, you can find peace, and you can also find camaraderie.
mhm.
And then it doesn't hurt to know what the written word is about. And so I'm trying to, in the concept that I was going after, was to say, don't be afraid of the Bible.
Right.
There's so many celebrities now that are writing their memoirs. And I said, well, there are memoirs that's been written, that can benefit us all, and that's in the written word. And so
Mm,
we can all find ourselves through in some, certain characters that's been mentioned in the Bible. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Is this the first book you've written, or have you written other books?
Actually, this book is an anniversary book.
Mm,
Can I show you my first book?
sure.
Okay, this is the first book, and it's also called Cloudy Witness, but it's called Blessedly Assured. And
Hmm.
it's pretty much the same format, but uh, I updated it. And because I was given divinely given the inscription to say, now it's time to change the subtitle, because this is Blessedly Assured, which I grabbed from a song, Blessed Assurance, Jesus is mine. And so after 12 years, I said, I was reading and I was reading it, and then I said, oh, I was reading Luke 62 verse Luke 9 verse 62, where it says, no man having put their hands to the plow and looking back is
Mm,
fit for the kingdom. So so the concept is, once you've experienced Christ,
mhm.
once you had a taste of him, and then you want to keep your hand on the plow, which means that you stay with them and don't take it off.
Yeah.
And also the concept that it comes from is that I was given a vision years ago, even before I wrote the book, whereas I was plowing a field, with no oxen or anything, and I was turning over this rich, dark soil. And then I happened to look up to the heavens, and it was filled with angels.
Mm,
And then I saw a figure on the throne. And so that was pretty much, he said, it's time to bring this through. Keep your hand on the plow. In other words, you stay with Christ. Once you experience him, you stay with them and don't look back into the world.
yeah.
So this is an anniversary book.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I think you've done a wonderful job in making the Bible readable, approachable, and this is a great step for people to read this, and they might become curious about other aspects of the Bible
Mhm.
and read that book, like you said, that often just sits on a shelf, right?
Right.
Are you thinking about writing more stories about biblical characters from the cloud?
Well, I'd like to show you another book.
All right.
Okay. This is when the people read the first book, Cloudy Witness, Blessedly Assured, I intentionally left them hanging, just, if I wanted to pick it up again and continue with it. And so a couple of years, about 2 years later, I did this Finding a
Finding a
Happy
happy
Medium.
medium. Yeah.
And this is a sequel to the first book. And what it is, the questions that I left them hanging with in the first book is answered in the sequel.
Hmm.
And the reason why I said finding a happy medium was because, for a couple of years back, the nation was seeking psychics and mediums and answers in all of these supernatural uh, ways. And I know what the word said about seeking out psychics, medium in Deuteronomy.
Hmm.
And so I introduced the witch of Endor in the book.
Hmm.
Uh, how who was it? Saul went to the witch of Endor to talk to Samuel. He wanted to talk to Samuel. And so that's what I have her story. included in the Finding a Happy Medium.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Janette
Mhm.
Jones has crafted a wonderful book that captivates with the idea of paranormal visitations from biblical cloud of witnesses. It's a book where you'll read about figures such as Eve and Jezebel and others. You will learn their stories and you will be inspired. Reverend, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you. Mhm.
Pleasure's all mine. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.